Welcome to session 2 of using Office 365 groups for CIS 3900 project collaboration. Again, this is session 2. In this session, we'll go over creating a virtual group for the project team. So if you'll remember in session 1, we talked about the Office 365 service and its ability or its inherent capabilities and enable collaboration among its users. And we introduced the concept of an Office 365 group for a specific project team. So this Office 365 service that Northwestern provides its students does include a logical concept called a group, and specifically it's referred to as an Office 365 group. And this logical construct groups together a set of Office 365 users, in this case, Northwestern students that are members of the project team that was put together to complete the final CIS 3900 project. And this Office 365 group, that logical construct, if you will, provides the group of users with a virtual workspace and features that by default only that group of users has access to. So this includes things like a shared collaboration space for project documents, similar to if you've used Microsoft's OneDrive service or Google Drive or something like that. There's a shared mailbox, there's a shared calendar, and lots of other capabilities. So in this session, we'll learn how to create an Office 365 group for the project team. In addition, we'll also just get a high-level overview of the shared collaboration features that are automatically created when you create this group construct. And those features will be covered in detail in future sessions, but I did want to at least introduce them in this session. So again, the first thing we need to establish is what is an Office 365 group. It is this logical construct that allows a collection of users to be referred to as a single logical entity. And it does provide a set of resources, shared resources that this logical group entity and its user collection have access to and can use. Microsoft provides lots more information on what an Office 365 group is and that sort of thing. There's a learning portal. I've provided a link to that. Here's an entire web page dedicated to it. It has links to other web pages and that sort of thing that provide much more detail than we'll be able to go into in this session. So the first thing we want to do, as I mentioned, is talk about how to create an Office 365 group. And there's two ways to do that. So one is via the web interface. So Office 365 includes a web portal interface. We introduced that during the logon process in session 1. And then also most of the applications, most of the Office applications that come along with Office 365 and provided by Northwestern to its students are Office 365 group enabled. Outlook is an example of that. So if you've downloaded the Office suite from Northwestern's Office 365 portal, you've installed that on your PC or your Mac, specifically the 2016 version, which is the current version as of this session. Outlook is groups enabled and you can use its interface. And I've provided some high-level instructions here, as well as, again, a link to the Microsoft portal that provides more detail on that, both using the web portal as well as using Outlook. So we're going to go ahead and step through that process. We're going to use, I'll demonstrate it in both the web portal and Outlook, but for the most part during these sessions we'll be using the web portal because that way you know, even if you don't have the Office apps installed yet, you can still at least get started with this. So this is the web portal. I've logged in as myself. You can see that over here. And once I logged in, as I mentioned during session 1, the default landing page is Outlook, the Outlook web app that provides access to your personal student inbox. So over on the left menu, you can see there is a groups section section in this Outlook web app. And you'll see that I've already created my group for my project team. I did that, and we successfully used this tool set to deliver our final project deliverable as a part of this class. And we were very successful in doing that. The tool set provided us ways to work together, even as online students. So all 4 members of my group were online students, lived in different cities in Louisiana, and despite all of that, including despite challenges around, you know, working times, as online students, we all have full-time jobs, and so we could work at different times and that sort of thing. And these tool sets let us do that. So what I'm going to do here is click this create button, and that's going to launch a wizard that allows me to create a group. So because this is an education centric edition of Office 365, there's this ability to create this professional learning community. You can just sort of ignore that for now. What we're really interested in is creating a standard Office 365 group. So I'm going to choose that, and it asks me to give this a name. And so I'm just going to do CIS 3900 Service Learning. And you'll notice that it's checking in real time to see if this group ID, which is derived from the name, is available. And the reason it has to be available is, as I mentioned in the introduction, each group has a shared mailbox, so it needs a mailbox address. And so the mailbox address obviously can't be a duplicate of others. So what it's doing behind the scenes is checking to see if the group name is available. And the other thing it provides is you can give, you know, it allows you to give the group name something very, you know, user-friendly. You can put spaces in here, so, you know, test group, something like this. And then the group ID is generated off of that. And there's, you can even then change the group name. So if you don't like what it's auto-generated for you, or you want, if it auto-generated something that is a duplicate and you want to be able to change that up from the duplicate, then, you know, you can just click edit here and create your own group ID. And the group ID becomes the alias for the group, and it becomes the mailbox address when you append the name onto it. So then you can give it a description. So this isn't really all that important when you have a private group like we're going to create, but Office 365 groups can also be used for public groups. Let's say that we at NSU are going to have a community of users called, you know, CIS enthusiasts or CIS majors or something like that, and we wanted to allow people, to anyone who had an interest in that topic, to join this group. Then we would make it public, and then we might need a description to help, you know, clarify or provide more information on what the group's about. But we're going to make this private, and what that means is only my project team, the folks that I invite, can access the capabilities, features, files, and so on of this group. Language is sort of irrelevant, but you know, Office 365 supports multinational companies, so language may be important, or if you know there's foreign students or what have you. So this little checkbox right here enables and disables something called subscriptions. So by default, as I mentioned, Office 365 groups get their own mailbox. it's a shared mailbox that any member of the group can access. But for convenience sake, a lot of people like to get the mail in their personal inbox as well, so that they'll know when an email has been sent to the group. Well, that is enabled through something called subscribing to the group. And what this does is it subscribes members to the group by default. The members can also subscribe and unsubscribe on their own. This just sort of sets a default. And I would recommend going ahead and setting that so that the team members that have their NSU email enabled on their mobile devices, for example, they'll get any email sent to the group will also go to their own mailbox and they can see it on their mobile device and what have you. So I am not going to, I'll go ahead and click create here just to show you what that looks like. So it's, once I click create, it's going to go through and try to get that mailbox, and then it's going to it's going to give me an opportunity to add members right now. So the professor of this group is Dr. Perez Mira, so I can add her here, and she'll be joined to this group. So this is how you would add users. So I'm not really going to add Dr. Perez Mira, and so I can do not now, and you can add members at any time, and we'll go through that. We'll step through that process in one of these sessions. So I'm just going to say not now. And you'll see that, here's the group, here's the group's mailbox in Outlook Web, in the Outlook Web application. And you'll see that the first email was automatically created by the system. And it basically just, any users that I would have added would get this email. And it, just sort of introduces the members of the group to the fact that they are in the group, and provide some links and things like that. Lets you download tells you how to download the mobile app for groups, which we'll go into in a future session, and all of that sort of thing. So now our group is essentially created. So I did want to quickly mention again that groups can also be created through Outlook. So this is my work Outlook here. That's my Outlook's already configured to work, but the point is the same, right? So I can click groups right here, and I can right click on groups, and I can create a new group, and you'll see that the options are exactly the same. There's a wizard to go through, but essentially it does exactly the same thing. It's just a preference of whether you want to use the client application or the web portal. And so we use the web portal. So let's go back to the slides here for a moment. So really quickly, I wanted to introduce some information about the capabilities or the features or the collaboration tools that are built when you create a group. So as I mentioned a couple of times, there's a shared mailbox with its own address that you can send email to. And there is a shared OneDrive for storing and sharing documents and files. So here in the group I created, if I click the files link, it's going to take me to that. You'll see it's taking me to the group OneDrive here, and there it is. It's empty because there's nothing in it, but it is there. I'll quickly show you what that looks like in our CIS group, where we had lots of files related to the CIS final project. There's also a shared notebook. So again, I'll just sort of introduce that to you. So if I click notebook here, there it is, and you'll see all of the different notes that my team took here. So here's our functional requirement notes, use case notes, all sorts of things. And we'll go into note taking in a future session. And then finally, there's a shared planner. So the shared planner is essentially not sure why it asked me to sign in again here, but we'll go ahead and click that. It shouldn't ask me to sign in again. One of the things that is a little different about my computer is I work for a company that has Office 365 as well, so I sign into sign into that as well. And so sometimes my browsers get a bit confused about which tenant I'm signing into. If you'll recall my discussion about tenants, so I'll just tell it I'm going to, I want to sign into the NSU tenant, not my work tenant. And so you can see here, here's the project, and all of our tasks have been completed, but I'll just sort of show some of them to you to show you what our tasks were. So here's a task to create a list of requirements, that sort of thing. And again, we'll go into the planner in more detail in a future session. And there's lots of other things that are created by default as well for collaboration. Here's a YouTube link to a YouTube video on the bottom that provides more information about what's created and how it functions and that sort of thing. So you can use that as well. So that is the end of session 2. And hopefully you were able to hopefully we accomplished the goal here, which is to learn how to create an Office 365 group and then get an overview of the shared collaboration features. And I will see you in session 3.